All right, first question. This is going to Joe first. Do you think that Obama is qualified enough and has enough experience to be the president of the United States?
I think that Obama, as a presidential candidate, is not prepared for presidency, only due to his lack of years in Senate that he's had up to date. He has some major points and some really good aspects to his campaign, but really I think Mccain has a lot more experience behind his belt as a senator, and then just having age on his side, he's more knowledgeable about things that Obama doesn't really know about, and has been through a lot of things that Obama hasn't. He has more ideas and more facts to take from rather than Obama does, and I think Obama is underqualified for the position.
Devon, how you feel about that?
Well, I will give my opponent some props to the fact that yes, McCain is older, he is wiser, he does have more experience in the Senate, but just because you've been in the Senate longer doesn't mean you're more qualified for the job. If you look at it, that would be the same thing to say as if when Al Gore ran against Bush in 2000, Al Gore was the vice president at one point in time. Does that mean point blank that he was going to be a better president than Bush? We'll never know, but to say age is the main reason why is only one variable to many aspects of it. Just like you said, you got to look at every strategy, every point in his campaign.
Also, another point that that is being made about Obama as far as his experience to combat that is that he, as soon as he got out of college, he went to go work in Chicago and in these towns that are dealing with exactly what we're dealing with now as far as our economy goes. So how do you feel his experience in that area as far as what Americans are going through now that Senator McCain would not have experience on? How do you feel about that?
We can't take Obama's past experiences in other towns because the way the townspeople of those towns would have acted and their economies have done are different from the entire United States. Obama has worked on a small level scale working with states. And, McCain doesn't really have any experience in that area with working with states on their economy. Or he may, I'm not quite sure, but being more informed and more aware of the situations that have occurred, he has more to say about and more information to regurgitate to help our economy. Like going through the Great Depression, because McCain went through the Great Depression. He knows a lot about stocks, he knows a lot about the economy, and I think that if something like the Great Depression happened again, that he would know exactly what to do.
Now, going along with the Great Depression, Devon, it wasn't long ago that Bush said that our economy was doing great, and then I believe it was a week or two later that now he was saying that the economy is in a crisis. And on both of those situations, McCain agreed with him. So how do you feel about that aspect of it?
About how they believe that the economy is doing great right now?
About how McCain believed that the economy was doing great, and then 2 weeks later believed that the economy was in a crisis.
Well, McCain was just obviously falling off of what Bush thought about the economy. But then again, McCain, I would consider him more of the upper class guy. I'm pretty sure he makes more than $250,000 a year. So if McCain's not an average person. So for the rich, the economy is doing bad and they are losing money in stocks, but it doesn't affect them as much as, you say, your average person in Chicago who just lost their job because minimum wage is going up. And I also want to comment one thing he said about Obama in the state. I mean, the city of Chicago, I grew up there. It's one of the most diverse cities we have in the United States. One thing he's going to know there's going to be different levels of social classes. You know, there's high classes,
so is McCain.
Middle classes, and low classes. But McCain's from the upper class, so
just because he's upper class.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. You got to give me a second finish. I'm just saying that the majority of America is middle class.
But do you know that in Barack Obama's campaign that he's making over $60 million already in his campaign? He's making more than last year's presidential election between Bush and Kerry
Like the money he spends on it, or like how he's making himself?
How much he's making himself. He's in the upper class. He's making more money in his election right now than President Bush and Kerry did, or elections last year combined.
That doesn't mean
McCain is making half of that.
That doesn't mean that Obama forgot where he came from, though. All that means that he's making more money.
Just because McCain's making money now doesn't mean that he grew up extremely wealthy.
McCain had never said he's from the middle class.
Just because he didn't say it doesn't mean it wasn't there.
A correction there. There has been documentation that McCain is not from the middle class. In his in the convention speeches, they showed a story of his life, and his life was
from beginning to end.
From beginning
to now,
from birth.
From birth to now, he's been in the upper class. You can't. Well, then you still can't take that as his perception on the rest of the world, because McCain could see it from another person's perspective, like Senator Obama's. He could see that the middle class is just as important as the lower class and higher class, and how to deal with the economy with those different classes.
But we know for a fact that Obama knows what it feels like.
If Senator McCain didn't believe that he could handle the situation where the economy is going down, he had to deal with the classes, he would not be running for president right now.
Okay, I'm saying the same thing for Obama. If he didn't think he could handle
it. But you just said that Obama knows all the classes, been to Chicago, did all that stuff with their economy. You're implying that Senator Obama knows exactly what he's doing and can handle the situation to the T. How can you assume that?
How can I assume that? It's based off the man. Based off what he said as a man. All he can do is take people for their word.
That's the same thing with McCain.
McCain?
Same thing.
All right, we're gonna jump off that subject for a little bit and move to a couple of other things. Let's talk about energy. Let's talk about their energy plans. McCain, his basic energy plan is to for temporary services drill offshore and to try to get the gas prices down as an immediate effect that way. But recent studies have shown that the people who will actually be doing the drilling say that if they were to drill right now, it would be 10 years before 1 cent of the gas prices would go down. So how do you feel about McCain's plan now, knowing that it won't go into effect until at least 10 years from now?
Okay, McCain wants to expand domestic oil exploration, which means taking it out of the normal places that we're going to, like Iraq and Iran and Sudan and Afghanistan, and distribute it amongst the world, because I know that in Alaska and Canada there are oil refineries that are being tested now to see if there's any oil. I think that having oil prices lower is not really the economy's problem right now. But the thing is with Obama's plan is all he wants to do is reduce the amount of gas that's bought per year to lower the sales prices. He says that by lowering it the 35%, which means 10 million barrels a day saved, that the gas prices by 2030, that's what, 28 years from now? 22 years from now? By 2030 that the gas prices will be back down. That's just as saying that 10 years from now the gas prices will go down by a cent. A cent in 10 years compared to however much that 10 million barrels of gas saved, or oil saved, in 22 years compares.
Okay, but Obama's plan is more long-term. Yeah, sure, having gas, drilling off, getting more oil, yeah, that's great. We all love that.
That's not long-term.
That's my point. Let me finish. At the end of the day, 10 years, that's not really going to help us out, because at the end of the day, oil is not, we can't make oil. It's going, once it's gone, it's gone. So, let's say for example we do drill oil. Okay, what are we going to do then next? So if we're going to drill oil,
you can't say that because Senator McCain wants to use wind, hydro, and solar power as energy instead of oil.
And so does
Obama.
But not to the most. He's trying to get the 35% of oil saved.
I think we're gonna have to cut it on that note there. This has been Stephen Walker, Joe Arsola, and Devon. Something is your last name.
Go McCain!
All right. See you guys later.